Podcast, episode 368. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and we'll continue marching with the machine by talking about completing ourselves. Now hit our theme song! Hey Ryan, we're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What is going down?
Not much is going down since yesterday, but a whole lot is going on the show today. We're going to talk about completing decks and doing stuff and commander precons as a general rule of thumb or wrist. And before we get to any of that, we have to thank our official business daddies, FusionGamingOnline.com. They are your source for all your gaming needs and tremendous human beings.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, I haven't said that about them in a while, and I feel like maybe they deserve more credit than we give them sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
They're very nice people, and they're always really excited to see us in real life.
Yes.
And they'd be excited to see you guys in real life, too. So if you're ever at an event where face-to-face has a thing, go up and say, yo, I like Ryan and Brando. F you guys. And most of them will get it, and it's super funny because some of them won't. And that's excellent.
Yes, very much so. And if you don't go to events, but you want to pick up some cards because you do, and you will.
Because you're going to buy cards anyway.
You can use CCO Slam promo code at checkout. Save 5% on your order. Or if you're new to the nation, because we got some new subs, you hit that little button in the bottom corner right there when you're watching on YouTube. Which you should be. There's a little button there. It says subscribe. I hope on the video I can be positioned to be pointing right at it. I'm probably close. Maybe I'm in the wrong corner, though.
I'll point at things as well.
Sure.
There.
And if you're new to the nation, use CCO Perks promo code and you get 10% store credit kicked back onto your Fusion Gaming account when you spend more than $100
Before CCO Slam promo code.
Yeah, sure. And doing that just lets Fusion know that their partnership with your boys is a good one, and it's fantastic, and everybody's happy because they make a sale, you save some money, and Fusion knows that we're cool dudes.
Yeah.
And I like all that.
Yeah, I
it's
like
all
those
good
things too.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff.
Oh,
Here's what you can do.
tell me.
Get in touch with Brando, CCO Brando on Twitter.
That's
say,
me.
Say, hey, Brando, I want to buy a booster box, get it shipped to your house. Open it on the BBO of CCO. You know what's funny?
Tell me.
You know what's freaking funny?
Tell me.
Is you open up somebody else's booster box, and that piece of content in the CCO verse is Brando's. He makes that. He opens up the packs and the boxes. And who do people come to say, I want to open up a box? I want Brando to open up my box.
It's Ryan all the time.
Freaking me. What the hell?
Just I did. My DMs are open on Twitter. I checked.
Yep.
So just I'm a friendly guy.
Yeah.
CCO Brando, come at me. I'm all about it.
The reason we say that is because you can't ship sealed product across the border. So if you're in the land of the free and you want Brando to open up your stuff, boop.
And I know I'm shifty, but I promise I won't steal any of your cards, and I will ship them to you at my expense.
There you go.
So you don't have to pay shipping twice. I'll box them up all nice, and I'll
Maybe
get
a
them
couple
sent off to you.
CCO stickers in there or something.
Who can say what is going to go in there?
Uncle Brando's dirty foil drawer.
Oh, yeah, I do have that, and it's getting full again.
Ooh.
I'm running it. This is the first worldest of first worldest problems.
Oh, no.
So I've got all these foil cards, commons, uncommons, tokens, lands, and I have them in a literal drawer. But when I moved, the drawer was full, so I took all the cards out of a drawer and I put them in one of those like 4x4 long boxes, right?
Yeah.
And now it's full, and now I'm putting them back in the drawer, and the drawer's getting full, and I don't have any more room for another 4x4 long box, so I don't know what to do with all these foil commons.
I got an idea. This is what I would do if I was you.
And so this is super fun. When you look at the box, when you just look down at it, you can immediately find the Commander Legends foils.
I can
immediately.
They're that much worse than everything else.
Oh my! By a lot.
Oh wow!
By a lot. I'll post a picture if I remember next time I'm in that box because it's very funny.
Okay, I got two things. The first thing I'll talk about is FU Alex is saying I wanna get a Prosper, but I can't find one. They're sold out everywhere. Or I bought one from Fusion and it was like the thick daddy one, like the thick cardboard one. And he's like, you know what? They are good. I used CCO Slam promo code because I was buying a bunch of stuff, he said. And I don't know if it's because I used the promo code and they know I must be a good guy, or if nobody wants those thick daddy ones that come in the pre-cons. But their customer service actually emailed me and said, "This is the thick one. Are you sure you want it?" He responds, "No, you can keep it." He's like, so now I don't have a Prosper. So as I'm going through some cards that like I'm pulling apart a pre-con to alter and put on the Facebook page.
Right.
Link to that in the show notes or on the screen or whatever if you want to get some alters. And I got the Prosper pre-con. I have it. I didn't even freaking know.
Ooh.
And I open it and man, my foil Prosper in that pre-con is so curled. Like it's basically a U.
It's like it's damaged.
It's basically a U. I don't know how the foil picture on the front isn't like stretched.
Just standard. Just like, it's just stretch marks on it.
It looks like it's gonna have a hernia. Prosper, man, how come your belly's bulging like that? Oh,
Shut
man.
up.
Shut up.
Shut up. That's why.
Mind your own business. I'm just over here bowed out like a freaking fish eyeball lens. Oh, man. Frick.
Oh, man.
So, anyway, that was my first thing.
Okay.
My second thing, this is what you should do with your foil problem.
Okay.
I'm going to break my own rule again, though.
Okay.
So, June 16, 17, 18 is the face-to-face games tour weekend Edmonton.
Right now, this second in time that you're listening to this is a really good time to mark that on your calendar because you're going to want to be there.
Yes. Top secret stuff happening behind the scenes that we can't tell you about yet, but it's going to be freaking fantastic.
And I'm having a really hard time with this because I don't know secret stuff very often, and I super want to tell everybody because it's like, I know I can trust you guys,
Yep.
but I can't because Ryan said, and he's sitting right here. So if I was to spill the beans now, I'd be in trouble.
Yep. So your good friends, Ryan and Uncle Brando, are going to be probably driving, and maybe with the CCO Dude Bros like in a big-ass van to Edmonton. That'd be fun, eh?
That'd be cool.
That would afford you some room to bring said 4x long box.
Oh, shit.
And all your good friends at Fusion Gaming booth, you say, I want to trade these foil commons in. Can you give me a price?
Can you give me $1, please? I need you to take this from me. I need you to take these from me, please.
Just say, hey, give me $50 in store credit, but you can't look at any of these cards. And you have to give me $50. Do you think any vendor Fusion aside would take the deal? I bet you they would.
I'll bet you they would.
$50 in store credit. Like, what does store credit cost them to give out? Like freaking nothing, doesn't it?
No, I don't think so.
That's a good ass idea.
That's a good deal. Yeah, I like that.
$50. Right. Give me $50 or I will dump this in your booth.
Yeah. How about I'm going to trade this here anyway. So you can give me $50 or
$50 and it stays in the box, or it's free but I dump it all over your floor.
Or you have to look at each card individually and put it on this mat. And then once you're done going blind looking at all the cards in here, I'll still get $50. How about that?
They can't put all of them in the 4-cent buy pile because they'll eventually fall over because they're all bowed. Oh man, they got to stack them opposite so they just make a giant accordion.
They'll stack on top of each other like Legos.
Somebody's wearing frickin', you know how you stack them opposite so they make an accordion?
Yeah.
Somebody tapes them to their shoes and makes moon shoes out of magic cards. Oh yeah,
could be done. That's a great idea.
That's
actually.
pretty much exactly what's going to happen when we go to Edmonton.
That's a really good idea.
It's going to be fantastic.
We're gonna have a good time,
and
you should all be there. We'd like to see you there, and you're gonna like to be there too.
Yeah. So if you're in Western Canada or Western United States, there's gonna be deals and discounts. I can't say yet what they'll be, and I truthfully don't know at what rate things will be discounted at for people that want to come to this version of the CCO experience.
Yeah.
But there will be deals, and with said deals will be additional swag too, which is fun every which way from Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And not just because the event is also happening on a Sunday, but because that's an expression that people say.
Yeah. So let's check the show notes. We got some stuff going on.
Lots of stuff to
got
talk
some
about.
stuff.
We talked about completing ourselves. We're going to get to that in a bit.
I completed myself where it counts.
What? I don't even know what that means.
It could mean whatever you want it to mean. My notes. The notes.
Okay.
The Grand Deck Update episode.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going to be exactly that because we went different directions on what that means.
For the first time ever, I'm the one that like looked at stats and data and stuff.
Yeah.
And Ryan was like,
This is some
I wonder what I did.
This is some DDO stuff.
Yeah, this is some Rando and Brian shit.
Yeah, Rando and Brian. Who's who?
Yeah, we actually delineated who was who on the pre-show a couple days ago.
I don't know if that's correct, though.
I don't know if that's the right word, and I'm not even sure if the identity there that was given is correct either. But you never know.
So, okay. The Grand Deck Update. What does the note say? Have you had a chance to put any recent cards into your Magic decks? Is the question that I asked you. And I'll for people following along at home, the decks or the sets in particular that I had in mind going backwards in time are March of Machines, the March of the Machine, the machine capitalized being Phyrexia.
Yes.
Phyrexia All Will Be One. Dominaria Remastered, which wasn't new but gave us some new
Sick
arts
reprints,
or more affordable reprints.
Yep.
Brothers War. Brothers War is the last one, and I'll use or at least bring up Brothers War Commander Precons because those will come up in this conversation.
Yes, they will.
And have you put any cards into decks recently?
Yes. The answer is yes. I have 24 Commander decks. If you're going back to March, which isn't a huge number compared to some people out there.
Brian Canada making every single commander frickin' ever.
Right.
He's got like 700 of them.
But
shout out to Brian Canada. Cure for the Game on YouTube is
Cure for the Game or Cure for the Common Game?
Cure for the Common Game?
I feel bad.
Frick. I feel bad because it's on the spot. His name's Brian Canada and he's a good guy too.
Great dude. Yeah. Great dude. But as I have been wanting to say recently since Ryan said it about me, I do aggressively foil my decks out. So having 24 of them is hard because I'm constantly trying to get like the coolest version of every card I play all the time.
Do you have any that you're like, I don't care, I don't want to foil this deck?
No. It turns out, no, I don't.
No, you don't.
No, I don't. My cEDH deck for a while had as few foils as I could put in it, but some of the cards I only had foils of. And stuff, and even that was like, God damn it! Like,
that is the firstest of world problems. Yeah. I only own the foil Mox Diamond.
Right? I don't have foil Mox Diamonds.
I have.
You have mine actually. The reason you have a foil one is because you traded me your non-foil one for a foil one at a time when they were worth the same amount of money.
No.
I have you?
No. I have a foil one because I bought from the vault relics that it came in, and I have a non-foil one because I traded in cards at a Magic Fest in Calgary in 2018.
Who traded me my Mox Diamond then? Because I had three.
Leave it in the comments below.
Yeah, if it was you, let me know. Because I thought I've gone my whole life thinking it was Ryan.
No, we were gonna do that, but I was like, no, I need one for Animar that I need to paint. And that's the one I have from Calgary. Traded in $213 worth of cards. Good deal for me.
Yeah.
And the other one I spent $35 on to get the entire From the Vault relics.
Yeah, that was the one that brought up the whole reserve list conversation. We're not going to have it here.
Yep.
But that was, people got very angry that Mox Diamond was in there.
Yes, Mox Diamond, Karn, Silver Golem,
whatever.
And frick, what was the other one in there?
Don't remember.
Oh, it's going to bug me now.
There's a Tangle Wire in there, which was my favorite thing.
No, I didn't Tangle Wire in there.
Wasn't there a Tangle Wire in there? I'm sure there was.
That was, I think.
Smokestack? What was the stacks piece that was in there?
There was a smokestack in From the Vault Annihilation.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of then.
I think so.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Anyways, your deck updates. Give us the skinny. You aggressively foil your decks.
Yes,
and you've got 24 of them.
24 of them.
That's freaking long.
And if you go back to Brothers War, I have put new cards in all 24 of my decks.
Hey,
all of them have got
that's pretty good.
something. This last set actually was pretty big time because 22 of my decks got new cards.
Okay. Let's break that down just real quick.
Yes.
Are you putting them in because you're upgrading the deck? Here's the list of reasons that you could potentially be adding cards for.
Yes.
To upgrade the deck to make it better. To change the direction strategically so it's more interesting or different, or just generally to change something because you want to play something new and exciting. To maybe in Dominaria Remastered's case, now you have a foil version of something with a new or interesting art. Right? So those are the reasons that I think you might be changing your personal decks.
And the answer to that question, of course, is yes.
Oh.
And when I went back, because you can look on Architect, there's like a history and you can see the things that have changed. And 80% of them have been, I've got a foil of something and I'm making the deck more fun to look at for me.
It tracks like when you move your Soul Ring to foil Soul Ring.
Yeah.
It'll tell you that.
Yeah.
In the history log or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
So I've seen most of them are that. I think, and thinking back to it, the things that I've been the most excited about so far this year, we'll say, for sets, have always been the reprint section of a set.
Oh.
Like Dominaria Remastered, I was super pumped. It's all reprints, and it had the No Mercy in it that I super badly wanted. This last set, the Multiverse Legends, by far the most exciting thing for me in the set, all reprints. And back to Brothers War, the thing that was super exciting were all those schematic old border artifacts, right? And when I actually looked at the physical cards that I'm changing in and out, most of them have been from Multiverse Legends or whatever, where I'm foiling out like a hard to find foil. In Toxtril, I traded out my Araya First of the Lochthwain for like the cool border,
the Eldraine border showcase one that they did.
Yeah, and the original foils are quite expensive of that card. Yeah, it's like $9, and they're really hard to find. So I replaced it with the one that I opened in a pack and was happy.
So you got to upgrade it kind of visually and do the foil treatment that you also wanted.
Which I also like. And then for the most part, I think that I like to try all the new stuff. Just throw it in and see if it works. And I'll just play the deck until it happens. And then I find that those cards they get rotated out. And in some cases, in my Torbrand deck, actually, I think is the best example of this, is I've been putting in any kind of like red, do damage when you do something thing in it. And then it's like, this doesn't quite do what I want it to. So I just punt it for the next one. And then I don't like this one either. So you punt that one for the next one.
Yeah, and that's a strategic change, right?
Yeah,
you're always going to get a red do damage to something kind of card.
Yeah.
So you're going through the motions of trying the ones that fit the deck the best.
Yeah, and when I find ones that are fun and have a cool picture on them, I'll keep that one.
Yep.
And then I'll find another card that I don't necessarily like the most, and I'll cut it and try something different. And I think it's not necessarily to make the deck better or worse or play differently. I just want to try the new hotness. And in some cases, and this is the case with my Corona.
We were both blanking on the name for a minute. I'm like, oh my God, we can't forget that name.
There are cards that I've never even held in my hand, and I'm already cutting them. Right? Like, I just look, like, this is doing it's in here for the same reason as this other newer thing, but I'm more excited for this newer thing, so I'll cut this and try something else. Right?
Yeah, see, I never do that. I won't cut a card until I know that I've played it, because I put it in there for a reason, right? And I don't update decks as often as you, and that's why I went a different direction.
Yeah. See, I'm very frivolous in sometimes. Like, sometimes there's things like I will not cut this until I have played it a couple of times.
Cards with unique or interesting effects that you can't quite gauge.
Yeah, Norin, Muxus, Tana, those are all decks that like I have to try it first to make sure that it doesn't break the deck wide open or make it crappy or that it's a dead card when I draw it or something. So I want those decks to click along on a different level than other ones that I have.
Yeah, and this whole process that you're going through, that you're describing, is the reason that decks over time get more and more powerful.
Yeah.
Right? And all of a sudden, I was just in the Discord the other day talking about my Balthor the Defiled deck. It used to be zombie tribal. Now it still is that. And over time, better zombies and lords and tutors like Imperial Seal and Cruel Tutor or Grim Tutor, whatever the one that was just reprinted, have been reprinted and become more affordable, so I can get them now. And over time, those tutors make the deck more consistent, better, and there's combos in there because I'm running things like Grave Crawler, and I have things like Phyrexian Altar, right? So it's like, okay, this isn't a zombie tribal deck anymore, unless, somebody exiles my Grave Crawler, then I got to beat. This is a combo deck.
Yes.
I'm searching for combos with tutors that over time have just found their way into the deck because I have foil ones. Yeah. And that's something that you have to be careful of, and something that I think that you do a good job on with decks like Tana and Norn, and maybe even your red-green Omnath, in that these are powerful, well-designed decks that you obviously have competency piloting because you've owned them for years, but you don't just say, okay, Omnath costs 7. I need every single 0-drop mana rock artifact to make him as fast as possible because I don't want him to be that powerful.
Yeah.
I want him to still be able to compete or play with general tuned and optimized but casual decks.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's a good take to have on the format.
And sometimes that's hard to do. I found that really hard to do with Tana specifically because she's got partner, and you can just be like, oh, well, I'll just put Timnar Thrasios in here. Well, I found that since I paired her with Jessica, it's hard to keep a handle on, because I want that deck to be like here. Even if you can't see where my hand is, I want it to be here. And with Jessica, like it's
sometimes
hard. Sometimes she's way up here.
You just stomped my dink the last time we played together with that. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Where the hell were we?
I don't remember. But where
were we in Vancouver?
Might have been in Vancouver.
You were just like Ryan. Take 21 or like take 26 or something. And I was like, oh, I guess I just frickin' die.
Yeah.
Because you were like, I'm going to triple this guy's damage or whatever.
And at Magic a couple weeks ago, I played Tana, and I was getting my face just obliterated. Like I had virtually no chance.
No lips left.
I had a Tana with a sword, finally resolved Jessica, and won the game on the spot. And it's hard. It's hard to keep decks in check sometimes like that. So as I'm constantly updating with all the new hotness, I have to make sure that I'm maintaining that balance. And so that's why I like to tune all my stuff and finick and twiddle around with them both, because it's my hobby. Like some people like to fix cars to make them go really, really fast.
Yeah.
I like to fix my decks to maybe not sometimes. You know what I mean?
I like to make my car shittier.
Yeah.
Worse gas mileage, worse emissions, more rust.
Yeah,
and maybe like drive over a nail.
Yeah. Yes. I want the tires to be just a little bit flatter than
Makes
they
it
could
run
be.
smoother over the potholes in the spring.
Exactly. And I find that a lot of the stuff does that. Or you'll find something that's just really, really exciting. Like there's a new ooze to go in AV, right? So I got to find room for the new ooze. And there's lots of stuff like that. And they always print a new ooze. And they all, well, maybe not this set. I don't think there was a new set.
This set. I got an idea for Altar. We're gonna switch recording. I gotta get a drink of water. We'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
Here's the idea.
Okay.
You got a new ooze.
News.
I want to alter a card where an ooze is like a news anchor. And that's your commander. News anchor. And every time there's a new ooze that goes into the deck, he's like the weatherman or the live on location guy.
That'd be so cool.
They're all news guys. Oh, fantastic.
I like that too. That's very fun.
So here's the thing. We're talking about power level, solving EDH's problems, all of them. Every problem.
Oh yeah. That's how we do it.
How do you think your decks over the back up, Ryan. Jeez, what the hell are you saying?
Okay.
Over the years, precons in Magic the Gathering have gotten better. Yes?
Yes.
2011 precons, not quite as good as 2020, 2017, 2020, 2023.
Yeah.
22, I guess. The Urza and Mishra.
Yeah.
I think the Urza and Mishra ones are probably the most powerful precons we've ever seen. You think? I think.
I think that the Urza one
That Urza deck rips.
is right up there with the Warhammer ones. I think the Warhammer ones might be the most powerful ones we've seen.
Well, and those ones came out bang bang, like back to back.
I think they were like
the
at the same time
day almost, or the same month at least.
Yeah.
Or that's what it freaking feels like.
Yeah, that's how it feels. The Mishra one was really good, but I think that the Urza one specifically, you can sit down at virtually any casual table and be a problem.
Because it's got like 20 mana rocks, and it got all the 2-cost ones and a bunch of the 3-cost ones. It makes a ton of mana and ends up making big creatures really quickly.
Yeah, and Urza's very good all on his own.
Gives your artifact creatures menace.
Just for playing the deck, you are rewarded with really high-powered stuff.
And of course, this isn't this. It sounds complainy, but we're not complaining about that.
It's just how it is.
It is to bring up the idea that I had.
That Urza deck would beat the ever-loving shit out of every one of the 5 Plane Chase Commander decks that just got released. Would beat them to death with no problems.
You even take, so get this. You take that Urza deck, which is regarded as a very good deck, or the mono black artifact 40k deck.
Yep.
Take either of those decks and put them in a pod, those 2 decks in a pod with Kalia from 2011, that stock precon,
right,
and Animar. Generally, two of the more powerful, regarded as the more powerful 2011 commanders.
Yeah.
You could get like Carador in there. You could get who else was in there? Frick.
The Damia?
Damia, she cost 7.
Yeah.
She cost 7, virtually unplayable.
Just like Toxrill.
Right?
Just like Omnath.
Virtually unplayable. But they would get their lips slapped off, and those are generally regarded as powerful commanders.
Those are terrifying commanders.
It's just funny. It's just times change, right? It's like the 1967 Camaro designed to beat the Mustang, right?
Yeah.
Is like doesn't even hold a candle to just a stock Camaro that you bought off the dealership lot from 2023. It's just a different game now. The industry has changed, right? Mm-hmm. That's just technology.
It's progress.
Yeah, it's progress, and I like that. I like that we can have that. If I take that same Mustang though, or that same Camaro, just like I took my Animar deck, and tune it to be a frickin' race car, now we are all operating on the same playing field.
Yes.
It's called cEDH. All right? I'm going to the racetrack to race other race cars.
Yes.
I love the automotive analogies. How do you think your decks, your arsenal of 24, stack up to modern precons? If you could in some way take an average of your deck's power levels and compare them to the average power levels of precons of today, how do you think your decks would stack up?
I think general rule, I think that mine would probably be a little stronger or on par. I have a few. I'm thinking Corona. I'm thinking Karth the Lion. I'm thinking whoever this person is, the Azorius Enchantments ones.
Yeah.
That are.
I don't even know your commander's name.
Well, I only play it because he's the right colors.
Okay.
And those ones are notably, they're designed to be kind of wimpy. Mm-hmm. And so they might be even underpowered against some of the recent precon decks. Yeah. And then I have some decks like Norin, like Atraxa, like Avi that would just pound the crap out of them. Because I do try and have a range, but I do try and shoot for, if you're playing me with a precon that you bought with a couple of cards you like inserted into them,
like an upgraded precon, right?
We're going to have a good game. And that's kind of what I think about in my head when I build decks to be fun. And that's usually that's the majority of things that I bring with me when I go to play in the wild. Because I'm never going to assume that people put as much time or effort into their decks as I do, because I do it kind of for a living, and because it's like one of my favorite things to do is to fiddle with my cards and do that kind of stuff. So I never assume that other people put that much time and effort into it. So I want to make sure that I can still have fun by doing my hobby, but other people who are there who maybe are invested less in it than me can have the same amount of good time and have just as many good games and maybe be encouraged to play more. So I would say that most of my decks probably could hang with and be about as good as a stouter precon. Again, I'm going to say, with the exception of these recent 5, because I'd probably blow most of them out.
Because they're distinctly crappier.
Yes, they're much.
I don't even know what's in them. I haven't even looked at them.
We're talking about them like they're awful, but the Night one with Eminence is probably the only actually good one.
Well,
There's
you
two
know
that are
what?
actively bad. There's 2 that are bad decks, and there are 3 of them that are okay, but not when you hold them up to Urza and Mishra or the 40Ks or even the ones that came out like before that, like the Forgotten Realms ones, like the Baldur's Gate ones and stuff that came a little while ago. They're just
My
not
curled
as,
and half prosper one.
they're just not as good. And I understand, like, oh, we can't be printing super busted stuff all the time. Truth.
Hold on.
True.
Hold on. We got to make a distinction. I'm not arguing with you, but the distinction is good as in designed and built well constructed.
Yes.
Versus powerful. How powerful is the top end and or how quickly can it kill you?
Yes, and most of the decks here I call them bad because
they're not very powerful or fast.
The high end is really rinky-dink, which I think for a new person getting into it, you'd be like, oh, this sucks.
I can't win instantly or
I
kill.
I can't win at all.
I can't do the thing. I can't do the thing that Jimmy and Josh did on game nights with this deck. I can't do the thing that Playing with Power, the cEDH YouTube channel, does because this deck is designed well. Mana base works, removal, mana rocks, interaction, whatever it is, but the top end doesn't do as much top ending.
Yeah.
And of course, in precons, they don't include combos, which a lot of the times on cEDH channels, which is what people watch on YouTube, have combo wins because in cEDH, that's how you win a lot of the time.
Yeah. And even that being aside, like when your top end is kind of
rinky-dink,
it's like, I don't want, this is no fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I mean when I say these decks aren't very good.
Yes.
If you were to buy one and go and play it, you're not going to have great games. You're going to get frustrated because your deck, you're doing the thing as hard as the deck is capable of doing it, and
you've got the pedal to the floor, but you don't have a big block. Yeah, you don't have a big block, so your pedals to the floor, but you're not going to go as much.
Yeah, your 4-banger just isn't going to keep up with all of those like modern cars that are just built better.
Do you think that? And of course, the decks are designed the way that they're designed for reasons, and one of those reasons is, like, if we were all Magic players and kind of knew the precons are a little bit of a gateway drug to Commander.
Truth.
Do you think that they're designed with too much emphasis on players picking up 4 of them and playing together with the 4 precons, and they should be more designed like Urza and Mishra were, where it was just 2 of them, so you can't play 4 of them together because there's only 2. You look at and weigh that against the Warhammer 40K ones. People bought those and kept them stock to play against each other.
Yeah.
But they're also good, so they didn't need to be edited, right? There's so many little nuances and complexities as to why precons are built the way that they are, and to know that that experienced players like yourself have
And you.
Well, yeah, but we're talking about your decks. To know that experienced players have the self-discipline and the awareness to say, I have to check this. I have to keep this at this spot. Otherwise, it won't be fun for players, or I won't be able to play it because nobody will want to play with me.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's important for us as people with a platform and people who play a lot at the LGS and a lot at events to voice that and make that known that there is some self-governance that the format requires, because it's not like we all want to race cars. I'm going back to that.
Yeah.
We all want to race cars. Racing cars is fun. It's awesome.
Yeah, going fast is dope.
There is sanctioned classes. Think of them like weight classes.
Sure.
You're not going to have a welterweight fighting a heavyweight.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be a fair fight. I'm not going to race in the stock class versus a super street car or a pro class. Like, it's just not going to happen. And in Magic, you could be running pro class like
yeah.
tuned to the nines deck cEDH, and I could be running stock class precon.
Yep.
And if you don't have the self-governance, and I don't know because I'm new to racing cars and decks,
Yeah.
I'm not going to know. So we need experienced players to do what you're doing so everybody can have a good time, because I would love to race in pro class. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Faster cars, bigger motors, it's loud, all the chicks dig it, right?
Yeah.
Right? Motor sticking out of the hood of your car.
Shooting
Look
flames and
fucking
shit.
like Vin Diesel, right?
Yeah, man.
That's cool, but you know what? That costs like hundreds of thousands of dollars to build that kind of car.
Uh-huh.
So much money. But you know what doesn't cost hundreds of thousands of dollars?
Stock car.
Building a cEDH deck. Though Magic is expensive, and,
Yes.
and I will acknowledge that Magic is expensive, but I could build a cEDH deck for the same price as I build a casual mouth-breathing frickin' everything tribal deck,
Yeah.
right? And those are not the same thing, and it's important that people with platforms fucking tell people to have that level of self-governance and discipline
Yeah.
as to not just ranch people. Remember going to Calgary in 2018? Was that this episode or last one we talked about Mox Diamond? Is that today?
I think it might have been this one.
I don't freaking know.
Doesn't
We
matter.
talked about Mox Diamond in Calgary, and that Calgary was like the weekend before the rules committee for Commander introduced Rule 0.
Yeah.
And I remember doing shows about Rule 0 in 2018 on Commander Cookout and Commander at Populum talking about it, because it was no fun just saying, yeah, this is my whatever deck.
Yeah.
And I built it on the drive over in the card,
Yeah.
and getting stomped and having kids get stomped, right?
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Yeah, when me and Lenny Woolley were like gun shooting those guys, or like gunslinging those guys, or we went out to purposely troll them. So we'd get into pods together and just ruin them. He would play his super fast Tesher deck, and if he couldn't get them in the early game, I played Omnaths. Once he got past turn 5, I just stomped the shit out of them. It was perfect. And since we were playing together, we beat them all the time.
But it shouldn't have
You
to
shouldn't
work
have to
like
do
it shouldn't
that.
work that way, right?
Yeah.
And now that there's so much awareness of Rule 0 pregame talks and people wanting to have fun and separation between casual and competitive, we can see experienced people like yourself with your frickin' army of decks saying things like, I want to be able to play these and make sure everybody has a fun time.
Yeah, and I mean, I spend a lot of time on them. I want to make sure that I have somewhere to play them.
Yes.
Which is very important.
Yes.
So I try not to go all the way to the top as often as I can, because I never get to play those ones. Right?
That veered away from precons pretty quick.
Precons. To answer the question that you asked a while ago, I think that
I asked a question?
You did. I think that the Warhammer 40K
Yeah.
and the Urza Mishra decks,
Yeah.
I think personally that those should be the standard going forward. I really do.
Like that WotC should build at that power
Yes.
level with that kind of ramp and interaction and strategy.
Yes, I think that those decks are good enough on their own that you can just play them and have a good time. You can take them out in the wild and play in
'em.
games
Yep.
and not either get demolished or, I mean, obviously you're not going to have something that's too strong. But I really do think that that should just be the standard going ad nauseum forever.
Yeah.
And I don't think they should ever change it, because it would also encourage this is the baseline. And then
That's how people build.
yeah, and you can still put crazy shit in there, right? Like, look at Urza. He's so good. And you could do that real easily and just have decks that are like that.
I just had an idea. Okay, I just had this thought. I think generally, even people that have a lot of Magic and deck building experience, even people that have lots of deck building experience, I think probably draft one of casual fun decks are still not as powerful as the black 40K precon
yeah.
and the Urza deck. I
Yes.
think that when most people, you and I included, build a Magic deck, an EDH deck, we're building at a power that is lesser than those two decks.
Yes.
And people are like, oh yeah, this deck is a 7, or this is my tune deck, or I'm building it to be powerful. And I'm betting, because you're not a professional Magic player and it's not your job to design precons or decks for Wizards of the Coast, you're building at a lesser power level, speed, deck quality than those two decks.
Probably.
And I think if those two decks are the standard for power level that WotC puts out, and people building decks can't beat them. They're too good. It will encourage generally the EDH community to become better.
Yeah.
And this doesn't mean we're moving the format towards cEDH everybody all the time. It means that generally the ground floor of the Commander player base will become better deck builders. And I think that when you see somebody lose to that level of precon, unedited precon, it'll be very much easier to determine that that person's deck is less powerful.
Yeah.
I think, and that's important because when you can notice that it's the deck that is less powerful, you can say, okay, well, what did that guy do that this deck didn't? What didn't I do for that precon to win? It made more mana, or it drew more cards, or it had bigger creatures, or more removal, or whatever it is. And then you can make those adjustments and learn from precons in a more meaningful way.
In what ways can you interact with something that can do those things? Because that's the type of thing. And that doesn't mean you can't build lower power decks.
No, that's all I build now.
Yeah, by all means.
all I build.
Because you'll notice that we're pointing out Urza and the mono black Warhammer deck.
Yeah.
The Tyranid deck from that same thing.
That was the teamer one, right? With the +1/+1 counters or whatever it was?
Much weaker than the black one. But still at a power level that should be maintained, because it's not a bad deck by any stretch, but it's not as good as the black one. Mishra, not as good as Urza. It's
not as quick and powerful.
Not as powerful of a deck.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, right? I think if every round of decks had they usually have that one that has the Dockside in it or has the Deflecting Swat in it. That's not what I'm talking about. But there's the one deck that's just, it's a little wee bit better than the other three. Then that's, I don't know, I think that's kind of cool because you have that one that people can pick. I'm going to pick this up in an event. I'm going to go play a game.
Yeah, you got to be able to differentiate too. Like the Savine deck that Dockside Extortionist came in
was trash.
It probably wasn't the best deck from that round because it was Jeskai, and the other commander other than Savine, which cared about flashback, was frickin' Pramicon, which didn't allow you to win.
Yeah.
Right? But that's the one that Dockside came in, so that was the one that everybody wanted to buy, and that's the one that was like $90 for a while, right?
Now they're all $90.
Probably. I don't remember who else was in that. Was that 2019?
I think so. Where was that?
18 or 19?
What plane were we even on? Where did they come from? What was that? Or were they just their own thing?
I think that was 2018, actually. Because 17 was tribal. That's where dragons and cats came from. And vampires. That's where Edgar came from. Eminence. And then 2018 had to be Savine. No, 2018 was Planeswalkers as commanders again. That's where we got Saheeli.
And Windgrace.
Windgrace,
Man,
yeah.
Windgrace was so cool.
Yeah, and 2019 had to have been Savine and Dockside.
Okay.
And we were in Eldraine and just went to Theros in the start of 2020.
Okay, so they weren't planes themed like they are now. Like they weren't tied to the standard.
That's right. That's right.
That's why there was a Dockside Extortionist in a Flashback Matters Jeskai deck that had a
hell yeah. Welcome to EDH. Yeah, how times have changed, right? And now we get 25 commander decks per set release that are plane themed, right?
Yeah. Man, let's look ahead to the future. Now that we know Commander Masters is coming out at $600 a box, don't be scared. It's gonna that price will come down. And they've got an Eldrazi and a Sliver precon coming out. How good are those gonna be?
Can I sit like this more often? This is a good look.
You can sit.
I like sitting like this.
Now I look way taller than you.
Well, I'm relaxing. The microphone just barely reaches.
I love when people confuse me for the tall one.
Yeah.
Because in real life, nobody confuses me for the tall one. It's like, where's Brando? You got to look for the yellow shirt because he's real small. He's buzzing around out there somewhere, but you got to find the bright colored shirt.
Yeah. We'll have some bright color shirts when the summer line launches.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fantastic.
We damn better anyway.
Yeah.
My eyeballs are all big. You see that if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah. Hey, did we solve the world's problem?
We always do. The point is,
or do we never?
Build your decks the way you want them to, but keep the fact that this is for fun in mind. And if winning is fun for you, that's cool. But like,
Make that known.
Play with like-minded people, and everything is going to be great.
This happened to me in Vancouver. This is what happened.
Okay.
So as I'm sitting down with a guy, 2 guys from Wizards of the North.
Okay.
And one other guy that initiated the conversation by saying, I'm playing a combo deck because I'm trying to win prizes to get a card, like whatever from a vendor, right?
Okay.
I'm going to try and roll you guys as quickly as I can with my squirrel combo deck.
That was nice of him to say.
Yeah. And I'm reaching a deck out of my bag, and I go, whoops. And I reached a different deck out, right? And I'm like, okay, is everybody okay if I play a fast combo deck too? What are you guys playing? Is that going to jive with whatever you're doing?
Yeah.
One guy says, well, I only got the mono black Warhammer 40K deck. And I'm like, well, that was the best pre-con out of those. And I know that's got a lot of removal.
Yeah.
And I'm playing my Animar creature deck, and he's playing Squirrels creature deck.
Yeah.
Right? So you might be okay if we miss a couple turns of trying to combo.
Yeah. Mono Black's real good at killing Animar, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's got sweepers, though. And it does. It does. I think he did kill Animar with Toxic Deluge. Got
Excellent.
him. Like Animar was at like maybe 4 counters, and he paid like 5 life and got all the creatures.
Nice.
And then player across from me was playing Gishath.
Dinosaurs.
Vizgraz. Toxic, like Infect Tribal. He gets +1/+1 for each poison counter your opponents have.
Yeah.
Holy Christ. And we were all at like 6 or 7 poison counters. So he had like a one-shot kill guy.
Nice.
Right? He was like a 30-30 or something.
Oh, sick.
Not quite, but.
Like big anyway.
And I made it known that I was playing a combo deck because this guy said he's trying to specifically kill me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got to do something so I don't just have a non-game. And they were fine with it. And I ended up, it took about like 10 turns for me to find all my combo and stuff and to not die. And Animar died twice. And had to pay 7 to cast him. And I played a real game of Commander with my cEDH deck because I was getting gunned for, right?
Ooh.
And it was just about communicating expectations and making sure people are on the same page. That's pretty much how every episode like this ends, doesn't it?
Yeah, because we're all here to have fun. And talking to Jay, friend Jay, F-U-J.
Oh, yeah.
Friend of the show, he's talking about Oathbreaker. About how it's like, no, it's supposed to go fast and it's supposed to be quick and you can't just solve everything with Rule 0 and they're going to ban cards. Good for Oathbreaker. We're not going to do it in Commander because we're here to have fun. It's supposed to be casual Magic, and that's why people like to play it.
Yeah. Look at that.
Saying that out there because casual Magic is fun. And you know why it's fun? Because it's a game, and games are supposed to be fun, and that's why we play them. And some people's idea of fun is different, and that's okay because we're all having fun.
Well, welcome. Thank you for your TED Talk.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Thank you for your Brando Talk.
Yeah,
Uncle Brando's TED Talk.
But that's what we got. Do you like precons? You can pick them up. Maybe they'll open the box for you. Maybe you can send them to me and I'll put them in a box and send them to you from FusionGamingOnline.com, or you can use CCO Slam. Save 5% off all the crap you're going to buy. You want to upgrade your deck with some sweet foils or some new singles? FusionGamingOnline.com. Use special promo code CCO Slam. Save 5% off all of that stuff too, because they're really good guys and it helps support the show and a great local business that's owned in Winnipeg. Get all those nice people out of Winnipeg. Right? They could move here. It's much nicer, less stabby, less dirty. It's just amazing.
Yep. Get those cards out of Winnipeg before they get stolen.
Yeah, there we go. There we have it. We've seen the place, man. Like, they got some good security in there for a reason. Speaking of reasons, we do this show every week for you. Thank you very much for listening. And we're going to be back next Tuesday with a very exciting episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!